The Malarians thought the Federation was weak, divided, and easy to shatter. They believed no one would stop them once they broke away. But what they hadn't counted on was humanity. And when they finally met us on the battlefield, the galaxy learned why you never, ever corner a human. The Federation had stood for centuries, an uneasy alliance of alien races bound together not by love, but by fear. Fear of chaos, fear of war, fear that without unity, the galaxy would burn. But not everyone believed in the dream. And one night, in the Great Council chamber, that dream cracked. The Malarians rose from their seats, their towering reptilian frames glittering under the chamber's cold lights. Their admiral slammed his clawed hand on the table. The Federation is weak, shackled by debate, ruled by cowards. We are done bowing to this farce. The council erupted in cries, some begging for reason, others spitting defiance. Banners of 100 races swayed above the chamber, shadows falling across the marble-like table. But the Malarians were already leaving, their scaled tails sweeping behind them, their armored guards pushing past stunned delegates. At the far end of the chamber sat the human delegation. They were newcomers, barely a century into galactic politics. To many, they were fragile things, soft-skinned creatures from a death world no one had wanted. But as the Malarians stormed out, it was the humans everyone turned to. Ambassador Solomon sat in silence, a cigarette glowing faintly between his fingers. Smoke curled lazily into the air. He didn't rise. He didn't shout. He simply watched the doors close and then spoke, his voice low but carrying. "You think you want war," he said. His eyes glinted in the light, dark and unyielding. "But you've never fought a war with us." The war began swiftly. The Malarians struck border colonies first, burning cities, slaughtering civilians, enslaving entire populations. Their fleets carved bloody lines across the void, leaving wreckage where Federation banners once flew. Many species faltered, retreating to their home systems. Others begged for peace, offering tribute. The Federation trembled. But the humans did not retreat. At first, the galaxy thought it was madness. Human ships were smaller, fewer, older. They didn't have the numbers, didn't have the advanced weaponry. Yet when the Malarians came, the humans didn't flee, they advanced. Estelle, daughter of the Andori Prime Minister, watched it unfold from an observation deck above Varric's shattered moon. A human expeditionary fleet had been cornered, outnumbered 5-1. By all logic, they should have surrendered or been annihilated. Instead, they charged. Engines flared white-hot, human warships plunging headfirst into a storm of plasma fire. Hulls cracked, metal screamed, explosions lit the void like false suns. But the humans didn't break formation. They rammed enemy cruisers, tore through fire, boarding pods slamming into Malarian hulls with thunderous force. The feeds shifted to interior combat drones. And Estelle froze. In the smoke-choked corridors of a Malarian battleship, human marines in scarred black armor clashed with towering reptilian soldiers. The Malarians were stronger, their claws tearing steel. But the humans, they laughed. One soldier, bleeding freely from a gash across his ribs, charged forward with a grin, his rifle swinging like a club. He slammed into the enemy with a roar, teeth bared in joy. His comrades followed, their shouts echoing like war drums. The Malarians faltered. Not because they lacked strength, not because they lacked numbers, but because their enemies weren't afraid. Because the humans, against all reason, seemed to enjoy it. Word spread like fire. Federation channels filled with whispers. The Andori called it madness. The Zorathai called it deathlust. The Tavari called it beauty. Estelle didn't know what to call it. She only knew she couldn't look away. She met Solomon again weeks later in the council chamber. His suit was ash-stained now, his eyes darker than before. A casualty report glowed red in the holo between them. "Your people are dying," Estelle whispered. "Tens of thousands already. And still, they push forward." Solomon exhaled smoke, his voice gravel. "We don't fight because it's safe. We fight because it matters. Every scar, every loss, is proof that we refuse to break." Estelle shivered. She realized the galaxy had made a mistake. They had measured human weakness in fragile bones and soft flesh. But they had never measured human will. The war built to its crescendo at Kala Prime. The Malarians gathered their greatest fleet, encircling the burning planet with hundreds of warships. The Federation hesitated. Some called for retreat, others for negotiation. But the humans didn't wait. Estelle stood on the command deck of a Federation flagship as the human fleet arrived. They were outnumbered 3-1. Yet they surged forward without pause. The void became fire. Plasma lances tore through ships, detonations ripped across the black. Fighters weaved through the chaos like wasps, human vessels striking again and again even as dozens were torn apart. On the surface, it was worse. Human marines stormed through careless burning cities, their armor smeared with ash and blood. Estelle watched live feeds as one soldier, helmet cracked, raised a captured Malarian banner above the rubble and screamed a human word she didn't understand. But she understood the sound. It was defiance given form. The Malarians fought savagely, but for every human that fell, two more seemed to rise, fury unbroken. And through it all, the laughter echoed. Shouts, war cries, even songs carried across open comms, filling the battle with something terrifying. The Malarians broke. Their fleet shattered. Their armies fled. And Kayla Prime, though scorched black, belonged to humanity. Back in the council chamber, silence fell. Solomon laid the casualty report on the table, his fingers stained with ash. His voice was quiet, but it cut through the silence like a blade. You measured our weakness. You measured our limits. But you never measured our fear. Because we don't fear war. We become it. Estelle stared at him, her heart pounding. She had seen it now, the truth that would haunt the galaxy forever. The Malarians had tried to break the Federation. They thought humanity would be its weakest link. But instead, humanity became its spear. And as Estelle looked across the chamber, she realized what the Malarians had unleashed. Not just soldiers, not just warriors, but a species that carried war in their bones and smiled through the fire. Aliens had tried to break the Federation. Instead, they had met humanity, and nothing would ever be the same.